Amelia Earhart was the first female pilot.
Anne Frank was a young girl who kept a diary while in hiding from the Nazis. After the war, her diary was found and published, making her an icon of the 20th century.
Arantxa Sánchez Vicario is a champion tennis player. She was ranked #1 in the world and has won 4 Olympic medals.
Benazir Bhutto was the first female prime minister of a Muslim country. She helped move Pakistan from dictatorship to democracy and reached out to women and the poor.
Billie Holiday was the greatest jazz singer of all time.
Catalina de Arauzo is one of the most interesting people of the 17th century. She dressed as a man and fought in many battles in the Americas.
Celia Cruz was a famous singer from Cuba. Clara Barton started the American Red Cross. Clara Campoamor fought for women's right to vote during the Second Republic.
Cleopatra was the queen of Egypt and the last pharaoh.
Coco Chanel was an innovative fashion designer who defined feminine style in the 20th century. She is responsible for women wearing pants and clothing originally only for men.
Dorothy Hodgkin was a chemist who discovered the structures of penicillin and insulin. These discoveries led to significant improvements in healthcare.
Elizabeth Blackwell was the first American woman to have a medical degree. She later opened university for other women to become doctors.
Emily Dickinson was one of America's greatest poets.
Florence Nightingale was an English nurse who changed the role of nursing and its perception.
Frida Kahlo was a Mexican artist considered to be one of the greatest artists of the 20th century. She was best known for her self-portraits.
Helen Keller was blind and deaf, but she learned to communicate and eventually attend university. She helped many people with physical handicaps.
Isiar Boyain is a successful film director. She has won 2 Goya Awards, including Best Director and Best Original Screenplay, and she has been nominated 9 times.
Indira Gandhi was the leader of India. She became influential for Indian women and others around the world.
Jane Austen was a popular female writer. Her novels include Pride and Prejudice and Emma. She wrote at a time when female writers were rare.
Jane Goodall is an animal activist and expert on chimpanzees. She worked for 45 years observing the primates of Gombe National Park in Tanzania.
J.K. Rowling is the author of Harry Potter.
Joan of Arc is the patron saint of France. She successfully led the French to victory at Orleans. She died a martyr.
Louisa May Alcott was the author of Little Women. She wrote the first literature for the mass market of young girls in the 19th century. She wrote 270 published works.
Madonna is the most successful film station of all time.
Malala Yousafzai is a Pakistani schoolgirl who fights for women's rights, especially the right to education. She survived a shot in the head from the Taliban.
Margaret Thatcher was the first woman Prime Minister of Britain. Maria Montessori was a teacher from Italy.
Maria Zambrano was a philosopher from Malaga. She taught in the university and later won the Cervantes Prize.
Marie Curie was a famous scientist. She won 2 Nobel Prizes.
Mary Bacon Eddy started the Church of Christ Scientists, the only religion in America started by a woman.
Mother Teresa was a nun who helped poor people.
Penélope Cruz is an actress from Spain.
Queen Isabel was Queen of Spain. She reconquered the last Moorish territory and set the first expedition to the Americas.
Queen Victoria was Britain's longest ruling monarch. Her reign is known as the Victoria era.
Rosa Parks was an American civil rights defender. She is best known for refusing to give up her seat on a bus to a white man. It was an important start to the fight for racial justice.
Rosalía de Castro was a poet from Spain.
Sacagawea was a Native American woman who served as guide and interpreted for the explorers Lewis and Clark.
Santa Teresa de Ávila was a mystic and poet. She lived through the Inquisition, but avoided being placed on trial despite her mystical revelations.
Dr. Sally Ride was the first American woman astronaut.
Sappho was one of the first published female writers.
Simone de Beauvoir was one of the leading philosophers of the 20th century. Her book, The Second Sex, shows the tradition of sexism in the society. It was an important book for the feminist movement.
Sor Juana was a writer from Mexico.
Susan B. Anthony fought against slavery and for the rights of women and workers. She was an early leader in the fight for women's right to vote.
Victoria Kent was a politician from Malaga.